Greentext/creepypasta/stories thread. Real, fake, in between. I don't care, but this board needs more stories. Here's a story that I like that I converted into Greentext format. Be me. Work for US government. Say used to because don't know what'll happen now. Didn't have glitzy office job. More of a field agent. Military, but not quite. Not going into intricacies of branch or specific work. Irrelevant, you probably wouldn't want to know. Doubt if you'll want to know this either. Story needs to get out. Dealing with something nobody understands. We're supposed to understand everything. Drilling rig in Kalahari Desert. You're not supposed to know about it? Middle of nowhere, nobody could stumble upon it. Barely knew shit when called up for the mission. FBI started investigation June 2013. Some anomalous event occurred. Rundown of what we were told. Hostage situation. Few workers went crazy, holding others at gunpoint. No explicit reason, assumed desert madness. What we were told. Job, defuse the situation. Try not to kill anybody. Keyword, try. No guarantees. Any old SWAT team could have handled it. Dealing with petroleum engineers, not trained militia. Place confidential, non-essential personnel barred. Barely made the cut as essential. In retrospect, should have asked more questions. Questions like why so secretive? Why 36 men needed for what small squadron could do? Truth is, after a while, you stop caring. But this time changed everything. Can't just write this off. Flew out in 3 aircrafts, 12 people each. Recognized Klaus and Buchanan on mine. Others were strangers, didn't matter. Goal, get in, finish the job, get out. Journey took a while, expected. What I saw when we got there, not expected. Rig and buildings not spectacular on surface. Located on edge of huge ass cliff. Buchanan, kinda defeats the purpose of a rig, doesn't it? Place extended down into cliff. Stairs, ladders, elevators, tunnels. Entrance, small, gated building leading to stairs. Plan. Place too tight for 36 people at once. Split into 3 groups of 12. First group runs into trouble, send second. If second fails, third steps in. Ideally, second and third not necessary. I was part of second. Not taking it seriously. Dealing with batshit workers with basic weapons. First group likely to waste perpetrators if rowdy. They wouldn't need us. Some guys in squad felt same. Klaus found beers in cabin. Finished them off while supervisors weren't looking. After 2 hours, told to head down. Stood in disbelief, supervisors barked to stir reaction. We complied, had to. Implications heavy, 12 trained men couldn't finish job. We were expendables in unknown situation. Glad we had beers for nerves. At entrance, Supervisor Richter opened metal gate. Poured into reception area. Small space, few desks, filing cabinets, metal bulb-like barrier. Richter entered code into panel, barrier opened. Faced with blackness. Flicked on rifle lights, descended steps. Light bulbs above not working. Steps branched every 50 meters, kept going straight. Richter, keep going down. After 20 minutes, reached lab/control room mix. Monitors, scientific instruments haphazardly set. Lights here, breathing loosened. Richter told us to be quiet, moved to back door. Sheer silence. Richter's expression plummeted, motioned us over. Whispered, Keep your guard up. Extreme reservation in air, followed orders. Richter slowly opened door. Should have expected what we saw. Couldn't stop gagging. Seen death, but not like this. First team lying limp, gory mess. Bullet holes too large, like 50. Cal sniper. Who'd snipe in close proximity. Assumed not dealing with rig employees. Superiors lied or out of loop. Leaning towards former. Richter signaled halt. Couldn't be mad, he looked terrified. Motioned to enter hallway. Moved with caution, minimal noise. Tried not to disrupt bodies. Hallway branched, always went straight. Reached large, rusted metal door. Marked, inspection zone, maximum clearance needed. Another panel with fingerprint scanner. Looked at Richter for next move. Richter entered password, scanned thumb. Braced for whatever was coming. Couldn't be prepared. Deafening alarm, flashing red lights. Metal barrier opened, massacre followed. Barrage of ammunition decimated group. Near back, didn't get full brunt. No way in hell to return fire, futile. Brief glimpse of attackers before bolting. Assumed infantry unit, more advanced. Shiny gray exosuits, precise movements. Weapons barely yielding recoil. Ran other way, ducked into branched pathway. Weaved around maze of corridors. Gunshots ceased, only my footsteps. Alive, but lost. Stopped, leaned against wall, catching breath. Nearly had heart attack, metal hand covered mouth. One of those soldiers. Instinctively put hands up, please don't kill me. Soldier's helmet retracted, revealed face. Looked at each other for eternity. Blank face, subtle surprise. Familiar somehow. After silence, he chuckled, never thought I'd get this chance. Initial shock wore off, tried pestering with questions. Words stumbled out incoherent. It's all right. He stopped me. Long story, but I'll explain everything. Looked around, continued, hopefully we have enough time. What he told me was incredible. Soldiers came from future, 2143. Time travel. They came to stop us from reaching inspection zone. What was beyond the point? Something primal, never meant to be disturbed. Bunch of theories, same conclusion. Cannot fuck with it. We dug into cliffside, ruined future. Released something. Soldier side, took a seat. You weren't the only ones that fucked up. We did too. Chaotic aftermath, time travel expedited. Needed to erase event immediately. First team of 15 sent back to winter 2014. Stop it before it started. Technology not ready. Accidentally dropped June 2013. Wait, June 2013 when it started. Looked at soldier, he nodded. Catastrophically messed everything up. Thought more, couldn't be. First team dropped, triggered event. Seismic or radiation spike caught US attention. Pod with water, rations dropped 400 miles away. All died in desert. Trying to stop discovery caused it. Predestination, I whispered. Soldier nodded. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Doesn't make sense to me, but I didn't help design that time machine. What did we release? What are you guys protecting? Chuckles, sneers, not protecting that thing. Protecting humanity. Need it dormant. Wakes up naturally, we're fucked. But we can't cause it. Still don't understand, pressed further. Why you here now? It's 2018, machine fuck up again? Soldier nods. Needed to be sent back after discovery. Landed a few days ago. What now? I asked. Sheer disconcertion on his face. Kill everybody that comes here. Employees, investigators. Heart drops, feel anger. Realized why necessary. 100 lives today to save humanity. Close to drilling into Beast's lair. No time to convince you to stop. Only 15 of us. In our timeline, initially disrupted end of year. Saw creature, decided not to provoke further. Too late. Woke up 124 years later, escaped. No time. No time. Cautious, asked, why didn't you kill me? Looked at me, extended gaze. Eyes familiar, strange at time. Reached into pocket, took out Polaroid. Slid it to me. Me holding baby, mid-30s. Stared back, expected explanation. He chuckled, family never blamed you. Ancestors felt shame, but we knew you were following orders. Didn't realize what you were doing. Processing revelation, soldier got up. Kill you, I won't exist. Selfish reason, but survival. What do I do now? I asked, nearly choking. Find way out. Staircases lead up. Surface, try to tell others, but won't believe. Forget about this. Must have looked horrified. Soldier chuckled, don't worry. We have plan, confident it'll work. Hold you off for few more days. Smiled, activated helmet. Walked, turned back, would have told more, no time. Sat there, hands shaking. Stood up, found stairs. Stairs felt like eternity. Didn't encounter anyone. Reached surface, only thing on mind. We've been living on borrowed time. I was 8 years old, I remember waking up in my parents' bed. I must have fell asleep on the couch downstairs and been carried up to bed, but all I remember is laying there alone. The hall light was on, and I heard the TV on downstairs, so I thought my parents were still down there watching TV, so I enjoyed the huge bed to myself, their heavy thick duvet covering me, freshly made bed I could stretch out in. But there was a lump in the bed next to me, and it shifted a bit as I stretched out. I remember it moving, I just thought it was the dog, so I moved my little toes towards it under the covers, but when they reached the lump, it was nothing but cold, like ice against the sole of my foot. I snatched it back quickly, whatever was making the lump in the bed slid off the other side. I heard nothing, but felt the cover being pulled as it moved, and I was frozen. What was in the bed with me? And does it know I'm aware? I lay there for an eternity, ears open and my breathing light, trying to hear whatever it was on the floor, or was it under the bed? Was it waiting for me to move? I was so quiet, I could hear the TV clearly now. There was no show on, just a high-pitched ringing. The TV channel had ended for the night, so why were my parents not in bed? I sat up in bed, slowly, quietly, trying to disturb the huge bed as little as possible. I pulled the covers away so I could make the jump from the bed to the light of the hall. I could run downstairs and get my parents, I could make it. So I stood on the bed, and I jumped. I ran so fast down the stairs, I ran into the living room and I saw them. My parents were frozen, staring at the TV, eyes open, mouths open, frozen still, and I could feel it behind me, at the top of the stairs, looking at me. I turned around and all I could see was its huge black glass eyes, all I could hear was the TV. When I woke up I was outside my house. My parents thought I was sleepwalking. They don't remember putting me to bed though. Back in the 80s. I have a temp job working as an archaeologist for the Bureau of Land Management in Lander, Wyoming. Lander didn't have a lot to do. So one weekend I drive to Casper. Hey, bars that don't play only country western music. Spend most of Saturday chatting with the hottie. Bar closes, but things don't go the way I would have liked with the hottie. Get in the car, start driving back to Lander. Bad decision. It's really late and I'm pretty tired. Eventually, I decided would be smart to pull off the highway and get some sleep. A hotel isn't really an option, that part of the world is barely populated. End up in a rest area. I pull right into a parking spot, set the brake, and go to sleep. Note the pull right into the parking spot. That'll be important. Later on, I'm jolted away by the sensation of my car rocking. I assume I'm rolling and grab for the parking brake, but it's set. The car stops rocking. I get out. It's a clear night with a full moon. Looking around, I notice something weird. Remember how I pulled straight into a parking spot? The problem is I'm now pointed the wrong way. I would have had to back in when I parked. My car is flipped 180 degrees. I get back in my car. I'm wide awake and there's no point in trying to get some sleep. So I get back on the road and drive all the way to Lander. Over the next few days, I consider my options. Earthquake. There was none recorded and it sure seems unlikely that one would have so precisely relocated my car. Some drunk local boys screwing with an out-of-stater? Maybe, but they sure would have had to clear out in a hurry after I got out of my car. There was no sign of anybody. Somebody slipped something into my drink when I was in that bar? Actually, that seemed the most likely, but I had no other symptoms beside that event in the rest area. Shrug it off as that was weird and get on with my life. But the next week or so is strange. Things I knew I completed at work were still pending. The boss recalls conversations with me that I don't remember. There are some new people in the office that I don't remember seeing before, but others say have been there for years. Likewise, some folks I knew at the office weren't there any longer and nobody else remembered them. I don't think I'm in the same universe that I lived in for my first 20-some years. Exploring local dump with a friend. People leave free stuff there sometimes. There's a swap shed. He shows me the area behind dump where people stash things from the dump to pick up later. Friend is a salvage expert, has a travel trailer in area behind dump where he stays occasionally. Winding heavily forested wide trails full of large abandoned machinery, stashed for metal salvage. He shows me all the prime picks we can come back for later. There is a mannequin at the dump entrance he refers to as Paula. Says if you want to take anything you must first ask Paula. Area is highly contaminated, unlivable. When I see something I want, I know instinctively to think of the mannequin and ask if I can have it, and I will have my answer. Explore and chat for a couple hours, check out cool abandoned things strewn alongside the trails, abandoned encampments. As we are exploring, darkness falls. We stop by friend's travel trailer to grab some salvage using my phone flashlight. As we are walking out of the winding network of wide forested trails behind the dump, friend nods his head in the direction of a trail we didn't go down. I look down that trail and see the real Paula. Paula is surrounded by atmospheric distortion. Sitting with her knees in front of her, hunched over, arms wrapped around her knees. Completely naked. Emaciated, extra long arms, extra long legs. Pale white eyes, pale white hair long enough to spread along the ground behind her and beside her legs, pale white skin. Paula raises her head as I look at her. Get the feeling I should not gawk at Paula and continue to follow my friend back to the exit of the trails where my car is parked. Just as we are returning to my car, look back and the trail leading away from Paula is now blocked off with a large glowing tent, perhaps a 12-man. Get back in car, take friend home and go to bed. Thanks for the stuff, Paula.
Like, share, subscribe and be sure to check the notification bell. Follow the Atomic Shaman on Twitter at Motel and RV Park. Listen to Paranormal Greentext stories on Atomic Shaman TTS on YouTube. Catch the live streams of Atomic Shaman Sweat Lodge only on Rumble.